Hello Mzansi, welcome to episode 437 of the Farmers Inside Track podcast. My name is Duncan Masiwa and I'm your host for this episode, powered by Nestlé. Now in this episode, we delve into the power of youth in food systems with two remarkable guests from Nestlé. Comfort Tshisikule, who is the Youth Learning and Development Lead at Nestlé, as well as Thobeka Mzila, agriculturalist at Nestlé East and Southern African region, are both alumni of Nestlé's graduate program. Together, they share insights into the All4Youth Sub-Saharan Africa initiative and how it unlocks opportunities for young people. That's right, they also discuss the significance of this year's International Youth Day theme, current trends in transforming food systems, and offer valuable advice to young people, among other topics. Ladies, it's lovely having you here on Farmers Inside Track. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Duncan. Thanks.
I've had the honor of being exposed to some of the work that Nestlé is doing, not just within the agricultural space, but also in other spaces as well. And of course, we'd like to get to know you a bit better and some of the faces that I suppose work the magic behind some of the programs that we see at Nestlé. Thobeka, I know that you are actually the first female, I'm told, agriculturalist at Nestlé for the East and Southern African region. And you also came through the graduate program at Nestlé Comfort You as well. So it seems like there's definitely something right that the Nestlé graduate program is doing. Let's start the conversation, Comfort. You know, as a young person who also came through the program, share with us about what All4YouthSSA is all about and how the initiative unlocks opportunities for youth.
Thank you so much, Duncan, for having me, and hi to Thobeka. So yes, my experience with Nestlé also started a couple of years ago as a graduate trainee. Straight from university, I joined the Nestlé graduate program in the Human Resources program. I think for me, what is exciting about All4Youth Sub-Saharan Africa is the design in which this initiative allows for young people to have exposure to opportunities. So the Alliance for Youth, it's really about like-minded companies working together in helping young people to get necessary skills that will help them to thrive in the world of work. As we exist now, we have got a couple of alliance partners that we collaborate with. And this is really to ensure that we give young people opportunities for employability. And one of that is through the graduate program, also through mentorship, workshops in terms of work readiness, and ensuring that we really equip our young people with workplace skills. Currently in our partnership, we've got Nestlé, ABB, Microsoft, Publicis Group, and Adcoop Group. And recently, we are excited to also welcome Puma into the fold of the Alliance.
That sounds fantastic. I'm always keen to find out about opportunities for youth. It seems like Nestlé does quite a lot of work in that area. You know, the theme for this year, or when we talk about International Youth Day, is youth as catalysts for change, transforming food systems, youth innovation for human and planetary health. Why are topics like these so important? What does it mean to you? Comfort, maybe starting with you, then we'll go to Thobeka.
For me, it's an interesting theme as well for this year when we're talking about International Women's Day. And one of the key things that young people are quite passionate about is sustainability. It is important how we engage our young people in this space as well, because this is something that they're quite passionate about as well in terms of their health, their nutrition, the interest in terms of the climate change and environmental sustainability. So when we are commemorating International Youth Day and we're looking at how we are transforming the food system, it's important that we address some critical global challenges relating to sustainability, relating to health, climate change, and social justice. So engaging our youth in this discussion and empowering them to drive innovation and change is crucial in ensuring that we create a better future for all. So I'm quite excited about this theme for this year as well, and the conversations that we're going to be having around the transformation that's happening around our food systems.
Thobeka, you heard the theme, youth as catalyst for change, transforming food systems. What does that mean to you and why is that so important?
So this conversation is important so that we can inspire young people to take action and take leadership roles, not only in the corporate space, but also in the entrepreneurial space. Also, it helps with addressing youth-specific issues. We need to know what the youth is concerned about. What are their specific needs? I'll make an example for you. There's been a growing concern with the youth with the environmental impacts that dairy industry has. And as a company, we're able to come up with interventions that help reduction of these emissions. We can also address things such as unemployment within the graduates. And this is a concern that we've seen in young people. So we are able to address all these issues. And also with the youth, we've seen that there's new ways of working. We can explore interventions and practices to address these emissions that are coming out from the dairy industry. And this has been a greenfield for everyone. But we see that the youth is more enticed to look at these greenfield areas.
Definitely. Now, I mentioned briefly in the intro that you're the first Nestlé female agriculturalist for the East and Southern African region to come from the graduate program. And I suppose it's always a badge of honor being the first. Tell us a bit about your journey.
I grew up in a beef farm in KZN, and then I went on to studying in the University of Free State, where I did my honors in agricultural economics. And then I moved on to the graduate program. I started the graduate program in 2022. And during my graduate program, I got to explore different functions within the agricultural space. I got to be involved in sustainability and regenerative agricultural projects, which was very interesting, and looking at quality. Quality is a big thing within Nestlé. And then after that, I then moved on to being an agriculturalist, which I am now. I started in March 2024. And it's been a beautiful journey.
I can imagine agriculture is a beautiful sector. So I would agree with you if you tell me that, you've had a beautiful journey. Why are you so passionate about agriculture though? Out of all the sectors that you could have went into, why agriculture?
To tell you a bit more about myself. So my parents are teachers initially, but we were always involved as a family in agriculture. We started off small, growing crops and then selling them on the side of the road. Then we moved on to cattle, and then my father retired, and then we bought a farm. That's when we started the beef farm. And I was always interested as to what was going on. I was a young child who wanted to know and see what was going on in agriculture. And that's where it fostered my passion for agriculture. And then I knew that I had to be able to learn more because we had a challenge that we didn't know much. And we were always just, copying what the next door neighbors are doing. So that's when I decided that I'm going to study agriculture, and that has brought me this far.
It's amazing. Comfort, the graduate program is just one initiative that Nestlé is spearheading. What other initiatives does All4YouthSSA run to support young people in various industries?
As you rightly say, we are All4Youth as an alliance partner, and in the alliance we've got different partners that focus on different industries, and we run multiple diverse programs to ensure that we create opportunities for young people. Besides these opportunities of either coming into the business to learn and getting really hands-on experience and exposure, some of the things that we are involved in, it's really having workshops for work readiness, for unemployed youth, to ensure that when the opportunities do present itself, our young people are ready for the world of work. So we have a couple of webinars and masterclasses that are facilitated by experts in the industry to ensure that our young people are exposed to information that they need to ensure that they are ready for opportunities when they do turn up.
And I suppose that's quite an important aspect, ensuring readiness for the agricultural job market. Thobeka, you've been fortunate to have an experience of having an agricultural background from quite a young age. What are some of the interesting trends you see happening in transforming food systems?
So you've seen more focus on sustainability, planetary health. There's more interest on that. So to give you an example, we are now moving from non-renewable energy to renewable energy. And we've also seen some technology-driven solutions, which is smart agriculture. Another example that I can give you is that we used to irrigate, which is watering, based on a schedule. Maybe let's say every Tuesday, or you'd look at your soil and you'd see, no, I need to irrigate. And that used to cause a lot of water wastage. Now we introduced probes, and these probes will measure the moisture in the soil and the temperature, and they'll tell you when exactly to water. And that has saved a lot of water, about 15%. We've also seen a concern in our consumers. Our consumers need to know what is in the product, how is it produced, and we have 100% traceability in our products. So now we source directly from the farmers, and this has helped farmers also in the trainings, because we want quality milk, we want sustainable milk. So we've trained farmers on that. So these are the trends that we've seen lately.
Comfort, what about from your viewpoint, the agricultural sector? What are some of the interesting trends that you see happening in transforming food systems?
What's really interesting in terms of transforming the food systems is how, as consumers, we have become more interested in understanding what is on our plates. Reading the label, where is the food that I'm eating coming from? How is it sourced? Is it sustainable? I think to Thobeka's point, I think it's also intriguing even from a young person to really have that kind of passion to start asking relevant questions, and also from an association point of view, wanting to know as a company, what is your sustainability plan and how are you sourcing the materials that you are using to produce this product? The other piece that is quite interesting for me, it's how we have evolved in terms of how we reduce food wastage, for an example. And how do we ensure that we sort of like repurpose whatever that was not used into either your biofuel or into byproducts, or to recreate compost and, just to nurture the soil so that we can get more from the soil.
Thobeka, someone's listening to this episode right now and they might be inspired to also explore career paths in the agricultural sector. What advice would you give to young people, especially women, that are considering paths along the food system value chain?
I would say networking is one of the key ones. I would say networking and collaborating. And how you can do this is by building your soft skills, such as communicating and exploring. Make sure that you explore different ventures within the agricultural space, and exposure. Expose yourself. It's easy to say network or collaborate, but then a person can ask with who? By exploring your options, even if small things such as maybe working at a farm and maybe you're not even getting paid, but you're getting exposed to that industry, because it's hard, and talking from experience, it's hard to get a job when you're just coming out from varsity and you have no knowledge outside. I'm privileged that I have a background in agriculture, but what if you don't have a background in agriculture, but you're passionate about it? I'd say go to the farm, volunteer. So these are the things I will say. But also, I'd say embrace continuous change, because in the food system, food industry, it's constantly changing. There's constantly new research. Consumers are constantly demanding for more, and you should be a person who's able to adapt to these changes. I would also say embrace sustainability. Learn about it. Equip yourself with that knowledge. Even though maybe it's not something you exactly learned in school, the theory of it, equip yourself. There's a lot of videos, there's a lot of news articles now that are coming out about sustainability. And if you want to go the entrepreneurial sector and you want to go the entrepreneurial route, you can do a niche market. I'd say focus on quality. A lot of markets want quality now, so you can niche your products through quality.
Such an interesting point that you raised there. A lot of the times we, sort of overlook soft skills and the importance thereof. Comfort, anything else that you'd maybe like to add to that as well?
It's important to harness those soft skills. And I think for me, the basis of it's your curiosity. As a young person, staying curious, not being okay with just the information that we have at hand, but really diving deeper to understanding and challenging some of the things that we do, or some of the ways in which we do the things that we do. And I think when you have that curiosity and the ability to challenge the status quo as a young person, you are definitely going to grow and learn more and improve yourself. With these trends that we have spoken about, I think we can also see from an end user point of view that there's really a growing awareness and commitment that we as producers as well, from manufacturing point of view, we need to be creating more sustainable and resilient and equitable food systems that addresses the challenges that we face, for an example, population growth, climate change, and resource scarcity. And I think as a young person, when you have found your passion in the agricultural space, then be able to then ask those difficult questions as well.
Absolutely love it. Comfort, where can our listeners hear more about the amazing work that you do?
All4YouthSSA, you can follow us on our social media pages. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, we are on TikTok, on X, on Instagram as well.
That was Comfort Tshisikule, Youth Learning and Development Lead at Nestlé, as well as Thobeka Mzila, Agriculturalist at Nestlé East and Southern African region. You can, of course, read more on this topic by visiting www.foodformzansi.co.za. And that's a wrap. Remember to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss any of the episodes. From me, Duncan Masiwa, our technical producer, Megan van der Vent, and the rest of hashtag Team Food for Mzansi, thanks for listening.
Life in South Africa can be a lot. I mean, scroll through Twitter for a minute and tell me I'm wrong. Thank God for South Africans though, right? We're inspiring, and even on the bad days, we fight back with a smile. That's why I love Food for Mzansi so much. They're not ashamed to celebrate the ordinary unsung heroes who work every day to put food on our nation's tables. Go to foodformzansi.co.za and never miss an inspiring story.